Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to 50 times WWE biggest stars were left off WrestleMania. Why? A lot of them just gonna be injuries. Some of them gonna be personal reasons. Some of them, Vince probably did some fuck shit. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right into this. It's his son.
WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year, so every talent wants to have a spot on the grandest stage, but not everyone can make it on the card.
A pro would bring they're here. That's good, but a pro would have booked me to start with.
Whether it be through injury,
I realize, my shoulders dislocated.
family issues,
One area that I'm not going to make that sacrifice to protect my family, I'll quit.
or creative differences.
They booked me and Carlito for WrestleMania, and they eventually, scrapped the match.
Today we'll run down some of the most glaring omissions from WrestleMania cards over the years.
Booker! You weren't even on WrestleMania 21!
And touch on why certain big-name wrestlers didn't appear on the show.
It was so incredibly disheartening.
Something I've tried hard to forget about, to be honest with you. Honestly, to me, the lowest point of my career.
Brock Lesnar was expected to work Gunther at WrestleMania 40,
And now squares off with Gunther. Oh, baby! Sign me up!
but in January 2024, Brock was alleged to be a part of Vince McMahon's lawsuit where an unnamed WWE wrestler, who was also a former UFC fighter, was said to be involved in the trafficking.
McMahon shared the explicit photos with him and informed her that he likes what he sees. After the star agreed to a new contract, McMahon told her that sex acts with her were part of the deal.
Lesnar's face-off with Gunther in the Royal Rumble
Send that nigga to jail. Send that nigga to jail right now. Send that nigga to jail.
Guilty! That nigga is guilty!
That is wild. That is wild. Sex with this woman was part of the deal. I hope she get all her money and then some, bruh. I hope she get all her money and then some. That is wild. Vince was wildin', bruh.
You's a freaky ass nigga. You's a freaky ass nigga.
Some of them going to sleep. For God!
match was swapped with Bron Breakker. Lesnar was then removed from all WWE creative plans. A year later, Brock was officially named in the lawsuit, which would obviously keep him out of WrestleMania 41 as well. Lesnar had previously missed WrestleMania 37, which took place during the outbreak of COVID-19. With no fans in attendance throughout this period, and Mania only being at half capacity, there was no point in paying Brock his high salary to wrestle, given the circumstances. The previous year's WrestleMania didn't have any fans whatsoever, and was taped at the WWE's Performance Center warehouse. Rey Mysterio, who didn't appear at Mania 37 due to not being booked, was rumored to have missed out at WrestleMania 36 because he was in quarantine. Other notable absentees from that Mania include Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, Mickie James, The Miz, Jey Uso, Big E, and Xavier Woods, all of whom either weren't booked or had injuries. Roman Reigns backed out of the show so as to keep himself and his family safe during such difficult times.
Roman Reigns was very understandable. Roman Reigns backing out of WrestleMania 36 is very understandable, considering the fact that he already has health he has health problems as is. So it didn't make sense for him to go through that at all. So him messing out made total sense, and anybody else that was going through something around that time also it makes sense. I listen, bro. This is one of the few WrestleManias I've never finished, and I refuse to go back and watch it only because there's no fans. It's awkward. They didn't put no crowd noise in there to keep at least the you know what I'm trying to say. The consistency of a wrestling match in there, the authenticity of a wrestling match in there. But aside from that, though, WrestleMania 36 will be one of those WrestleManias where I heard it was good, but I won't ever finish watching it. Like I said, watching that watching that Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair match, that was kind of hard to watch when all you heard was when that's all you hearing, it's kind of hard. I'm just saying, bro.
You some freaky ass nigga.
But anyways, though,
one area that I'm not going to make that sacrifice. I will sacrifice my career. I'll sacrifice the performance. Hell, I'll sacrifice the audience if I have to protect my family. I'll quit. I will hang up the boots.
Activities outside of the ring also prevented Jeff Hardy from competing and going on to win the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 24.
You don't have to remind us of that. We know that Jeff Hardy was on to do bigger and better things, but Jeff kept getting in the way of Jeff. But still, you don't have to remind us of that, bruh.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
Around 2 weeks out from Mania, Jeff violated the wellness policy for a second time, meaning he was suspended and would miss the show of shows. It was a massive blow given how popular Hardy was at this point. He'd still go on to have a great year, but the suspension was a huge setback. Jeff later missed out on WrestleMania 34 through injury.
Drugs and all kinds of major superplex.
Keep an eye on Jeff's right shoulder. The impact upon the crash.
Hardy was at home for Mania 37 after his father had sadly passed away, days prior to the event following a lengthy illness. Jeff's brother Matt had also had his fair share of WrestleMania misses, including Manias 20, 21, and 24, the latter of which he returned from injury to cost his rival MVP the Money in the Bank match. In 2003, creative had nothing for Jeff, meaning there was no place for him at WrestleMania 19. Speaking of weak creative, Sheamus and Daniel Bryan's planned US title clash was penciled in for WrestleMania 27, but during the day they were told their bout had been bumped to the pre-show, and was now going to be a battle royal instead of a one-on-one.
Great shot to the kidneys there by the Celtic Warrior. Now both superstars have gone over the top rope. And Daniel Bryan.
It was so incredibly disheartening.
Something I've tried hard to forget about, to be honest with you. Honestly, to me, the lowest point of my career.
These days, the pre-show is essentially a part of the WrestleMania broadcast, since fans can watch it live. But back then, pre-show matches could only be seen by purchasing the DVD a month or two later. Sheamus and Bryan had a big showcase at the Show of Shows a year later.
Oh, man!
And then 1 year later, they turned it into a 15-second squash match. Boy, Vince was cooking, wasn't he? Vince was cooking, wasn't he? That is peak Vince right there. That is prime Vince. That's peak Vince right there, boy. Oh man, that is some of the best booking. Vince was just fuck out of here. Vince was terrible.
You're not that guy,
But
pal.
Mania
Trust me.
27
You're
was
not
a low
that guy.
point for both men. Ric Flair was another victim of a relatively unseen WrestleMania pre-show match. In 2007, Flair had been working with Carlito, but neither wrestler made it onto WrestleMania 23. Carlito's hardly a big name and was left off more WrestleMania main cards than he was on.
Hey yo.
But he made some interesting remarks about not being figured into plans at Mania 23, so he deserves a mention here. In an interview with the Ottawa Sun, and while speaking in the third person, Carlito said Rick not being on the card was disrespectful.
I remember this feud, but at the same time, it's like, can we really be mad that this didn't make the card? I mean, I'm just saying. I don't think that was WrestleMania worthy. Backlash worthy, yes. No Mercy worthy, yes. Armageddon worthy, yes. Survivor Series worthy, yes. WrestleMania though?
No, nigga. No, nigga. No, nigga. I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
I'm just saying, that's just me. I think I understand it's Ric Flair, but at the same time, is this feud really worth a WrestleMania? I think not.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
But it was even more disrespectful not to have Carlito on the card. He then took a shot at Melina vs Ashley and Kane vs the Great Khali being on the show but not him, before then saying maybe if he politicked and kissed ass, he might have made it on. Backstage, Carlito got heat for these comments, but later claimed they were said in character.
I was just being a heel, but people took it as like a shoot type of thing. But at that point, I already have to own it. All right, I guess now it's that. So what are we gonna do? And that's kind of the beginning where my heat backstage started developing from.
Flair and Carlito ended up teaming up to take on Chavo Guerrero and Gregory Helms in the Mania 23 Dark match, where Lumberjacks were also involved.
I was supposed to wrestle Mr. Anderson at WrestleMania, right? And then that promo was so good, I guess, I can't remember. The next day, they booked me and Carlito for WrestleMania. And they eventually, scrapped the match. So
WrestleMania 21 saw Booker T absent from the main card, though he did win an Interbrand Battle Royal in the Dark match.
Booker, you weren't even on WrestleMania 21.
Well, let's be nice. Let's be
WrestleMania
nice.
22 had one of these as well.
Look at this. Look at this. Road Warrior eliminated. With his heads up. Snitsky eliminated.
The WrestleMania 21 pre-show match was the first that didn't air on Sunday Night Heat since Heat's inception in 1998. From 99 to 03, the Heat pre-show was a part of the WrestleMania experience. It was a chance to see the stage design before the main pay-per-view as well as a few matches. So it's similar to the countdown shows that air on YouTube today. Before the days of Heat, pre-show Mania matches were aired as part of the free-for-all. Aside from the wrestlers who worked on the Sunday Night Heat pre-show, including those involved in the World Tag Team Championship match, and John Cena who cut a promo before the event, WrestleMania 19 in Seattle had a host of absentees. Scott Steiner's push had ended after he came in working for the world title against Triple H at the previous two pay-per-views. Christian had been involved in his tag partner Chris Jericho's feud with Shawn Michaels, but wasn't figured in for Mania. Then there were numerous key names that missed out because of injuries such as Edge, Kevin Nash, Lita, Randy Orton, and Batista. Let's now take a closer look at stars who were ruled out of WrestleMania through injury. Some of these injuries may have occurred right before the big show, while others were more long-term in nature or worse, career-threatening. Nevertheless, no one wants to miss the showcase of the Immortals.
Hey, here we go. I told you she would do it. And Lita with a loop-ass press off the apron, and now Lita holding her knee. And whoa! That's game planning. Yeah. Triple H using them. Oh, looks like Braga. And McIntyre. Is now driven into Arcade. Launching him with that power bomb.
I realize, my shoulders dislocated.
WrestleMania 2000 was without Stone Cold Steve Austin since the Texas Rattlesnake had undergone neck surgery 3 months prior. This injury kept him out of action for the best part of a year. The Undertaker was also on the treatment table as a result of multiple injuries, first a groin tear and later a torn pectoral muscle. The Phenom had previously been hurt for WrestleMania 10 where he was at home healing from a back injury. Mr. Perfect's back injury prevented him from wrestling at WrestleMania 8. Rey Mysterio has missed a number of WrestleManias due to injury, usually because of knee problems. This includes 4 separate Manias during the 2000s and 2010s. Rey's former tag partner Batista is another who took multiple WrestleManias off due to injury, most notably when Dave had to relinquish the world title in the lead up to WrestleMania 22 upon suffering a torn tricep. The Animal
and then that led to Rey Mysterio getting the title.
Then sat out WrestleMania 25 after undergoing hamstring surgery. WrestleMania 32 was without Seth Rollins, who tore his ACL the previous November whilst WWE champion. John Cena performed a run-in on the show, but couldn't wrestle since he'd recently had shoulder surgery. Randy Orton also had shoulder problems at the time and was absent from the event. Shawn Michaels was present at WrestleMania 13, but a smile losing knee injury meant he wasn't booked in a match.
Not long after that, I tweaked my knee.
Michaels up, out, and down.
I cried when the doctor in New York told me you'd never wrestle again. I was devastated, told my parents, cried.
I've lost a lot of things, and one of them has been my smile.
Before the injury, the Heartbreak Kid was expected to drop the WWF title at the event to Bret Hart in a return match from Mania 12.
You phony little faker, why don't you take your little pussyfoot injury?
I'm not going anywhere.
Go back and find your smile.
I remember I didn't buy any of it. I thought this is the biggest bunch of bullshit ever. So it's just his way of not dropping the belt to me, which just to be reeked of unprofessionalism.
Shawn's best friend Triple H saw his quad for the second time in his career during a match where he teamed with Michaels 3 months prior to WrestleMania 23. This meant that HBK took the game's place in the show's main event versus John Cena. Charlotte Flair missed WrestleMania 37 due to contracting the virus amidst the 2020 and 2021 outbreak. AJ Styles got hurt 3 months out from WrestleMania 39 where he broke his ankle at a house show. And lastly, Kevin Owens had to back out of Mania 41 with a neck issue after already being confirmed to face Randy Orton.
I want to say thank you, and I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, that sucks that he has to go through that, but hopefully everything work out for the better for Kevin Owens. You know, seeing what Stone Cold had to go through, I hope that it's not severe. Because if it's severe, then we losing another great talent to neck injuries, and that's not good. I mean, first Stone Cold, then Big E, now Kevin Owens. It's Kurt Angle. Like, come on, bro. Hopefully everything work out for the better for Kevin Owens. Cause that sucks that you're gonna have to miss WrestleMania because of neck problems. But definitely get your health right before coming back to this. Cause this. I wish people would stop saying wrestling is fake. I really wish people would stop saying wrestling is fake.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I really wish people would stop saying wrestling is fake, because look at the shit that they got to go through. It's not fake, bro. Is it scripted? Yes. But fake? No.
Thank you.
It's not just wrestlers that miss out on the big time. Sometimes there's no room for certain title defenses at the granddaddy of them all. As of 2024, the coveted Intercontinental Championship hasn't been defended at 13 WrestleManias in total, not counting pre-shows. This includes 2 separate stretches from WrestleMania 19 to 24 and 26 to 30. The tag team titles haven't been featured on 10 WrestleMania main cards. Since its return in 1998, the Women's Championship, or Divas title as it was later known, was left off 8 WrestleManias, including no defenses from Mania 24 to 29. The United States Championship might have the worst showing of any title at WrestleMania. After being revived in 2003 and later appearing at Mania 20, the US title wasn't defended at 11 out of a possible 19 WrestleManias, with a barren spell taking place from WrestleManias 24 to 30. There's been a few instances over the years where planned big WrestleMania matches got cancelled, thus leading to wrestlers not making it onto the main card despite still being with the company. The Big Show vs Shaquille O'Neal would have been a marquee match for Mania 33, where it was supposed to go down.
That was never gonna happen. Shaq wasn't gonna do that shit. Shaq could barely even stand in the league. Shaq could barely stand up when he was in the league, bro. Shaq could barely stay healthy when he was in the league. What the fuck made y'all think he was gonna do a WrestleMania, bro? Fuck out of here.
Before he retires, it'll just be me against him. So if you're listening, I'm ready to take on Big Show whenever, wherever.
Shaq's the one that needs to show up and get it done, not me. I work there. He's got to come to me. I don't need to go to him. Let's do it. You serious?
Let's do it. I'm in. Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, I'm in.
I'm in too, hey.
Next time when I fight Big Show and body slam him over a table, that's going down next year in Orlando.
That's a big man.
Various reasons were rumored for the cancellation, but Big Show puts it down to scheduling conflicts and bad communication on WWE's part.
People way above my pay grade couldn't put that deal together.
I think the biggest thing was aligning WWE and Shaq for what WWE's vision was of the match that they wanted us to have.
Show ended up working on the pre-show instead.
And there he goes! Big Show eliminated by Strowman!
Bobby Lashley was all set to work Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 39, but sadly health issues kept Bray out of action. Wyatt would later tragically pass away in August 2023. Lashley appeared on the show showing off the Andre the Giant trophy he'd won in the Battle Royal on SmackDown 2 nights before, and will also include Razor Ramon, who refused to wrestle a planned match with Goldust at WrestleMania 12. Goldust ended up working against Roddy Piper at the event instead. Razor was suspended for the show after failing a test. However, Ramon believes the suspension had more to do with the fact he'd made it known that he was off to WCW once his contract expired a few months later. later. Not being part of creative plans is the main reason wrestlers might not appear on the grandest stage. Lower level talent are used to this, but for the bigger names, being left off stings that bit more. Even with the show being 2 nights now, every year a popular star is still likely to miss out because they're not in any storylines. WrestleMania 39 in LA had no space for LA Knight, who fans were clamoring to see pushed at the time.
And I came here to be recognized as the best. And how do I do that? By going to WrestleMania. Yeah. You have a talent such as LA Knight, you've got to capitalize. Look at this now. Once with the backwards and the win.
Kevin Owens' spot versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35 was taken by Kofi Kingston. Kofi got so over with the audience in the build-up, the company had no choice but to go with him instead of Owens. This meant KO sat out Mania that year, the only time he would do so whilst wrestling for WWE. Samoa Joe debuted on the main roster in 2017, 2 months before WrestleMania 33, but the Samoan submission machine wasn't able to find a way onto the show of shows. Also, spare a thought for William Regal, who never wrestled.
WWE fumbled so bad with Samoa Joe. It's ridiculous at this point how bad they fumbled with Samoa Joe. It's ridiculous how bad WWE fumbled with that man.
Wrestled on a full Mania card after his appearance at WrestleMania 18. That's despite him working on the active roster until 2013. After a string of disappointing WrestleMania matches, The Undertaker didn't feature at Mania 35. The Phenom still attended the show though, and many believed he'd make an appearance of some sort. However, Taker didn't bring his gear, so then when he was asked to show up on Raw the next night, he had to go back home to Texas, get his stuff, and then return to New York.
You have to make a trip home? Yeah. A pro would bring, they're here. That's good, but a pro would have booked me to start with.
Undertaker watched that year's WrestleMania thinking he should have been wrestling.
Should be out there.
And it wasn't long after until he was back in the ring once again. Now if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on 10 WWE matches.
Alrighty, man, that's just gonna about do it for this one. It sucks that, you know, certain people get left off due to injuries or just Vince being Vince, but aside from that, it is what it is. But anyways, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.